YouTube, Ranger Reno. You ought to know me by now. Hey, I'm working on some beaver problems again. We've got a pond with a lodge in it, and there's plenty of beaver. Now, one of my favorite traps, well, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite. I don't know if I have a favorite. But one I use a lot is the 330 conibear body grip. It's a very good trap, incredibly effective, humane, takes care of the beaver right away. But sometimes when you're setting them, they're hard to really balance well and stabilize. You try to put sticks in the ground for stabilization through the springs and things, and you might hit a rock, a root, or whatever, and it's just not working well. And I like to do that wherever I can, but also learned a while back about stabilizers, and I watched a guy make a couple, and I thought, hey, I can do that. So I came down to my shop here, the old power miter box here. We're gonna make a stabilizer for 330. It's pretty simple. I use a real nice 1x lathe here. This happens to be a real hard maple. It was part of a trim on a window. I'm gonna cut that to 6 inches long. And I got, well, where'd it go? There we go. I take these little blocks here. I cut them to 3 inches. Now they're about a 1/2 inch wide plywood. I don't think they're green treated. They're just something I had laying around, but I'll cut them to, they're a little long, so I got to bring it down to about 3 inches here. We'll make a couple cuts and we'll keep showing you the process. Okay, so rather than bore you with watching me cut with the saw and listen to the noise and blow your eardrums out, save your ears for when you need to listen in the woods for wild game. All right, so this one is 6 inches long. It's a little 1x1, about 1 inch wide, 6 inches long, 1/2 inch wide. 2 9/16 inch, 6 inch long lag bolts. These will be the feet for the stabilizer. That works great because you've got this thread. It really grips in the ground, muck, anything. It's about the right length. Yeah, a little bit weighty by the time you start hauling a few of these around, but you know, I'm not into massive production. I'm just into 6 traps at a time, maybe. And then these small pieces of plywood here, that's the material. Now we need to drill a couple holes. I'm going to drill a hole right here in the center, right here in the center, and then in the center of each one of these. And you can guess the lag's going to go through it all, and you'll see the final product. So one thing to note is the shaft of the lag up here actually is 3/8 inch diameter. I'm going to use a 23/64 bit. Keeps it a little bit snug because when it's all said and done, this is where the wood is riding. I don't want it so tight that it splits my wood, and I don't want it so loose that it falls out. It'll thread through real quick, but like I say, this area will be consumed by the wood. 23/64. You can use different size lags. I've done it with 1/4 inch lags. Just come down to 64th. So we'll drill our hole about 3/8 of an inch from the end, all the way through on both ends. So now you can see where the holes have been drilled. All 4 of these, essentially right in the middle, on each end there. This is not rocket science. This will count right along with horseshoes, hand grenades, and close enough, right? Close counts. So here we go. That's the joke there. We'll move to the next step, which is to place the lags through then and put it all together. In case you're not able to visualize it, I'm running the lag through. Just take a wrench, turn it all the way to the point where we get to, again, the shaft that does not have thread. Now this is where the 23/64 comes into play. I'm going to just compress the smooth part of that shaft through. That extra 64ths of tightness will come into play very nicely here. Hold that right where I want it. And finish the product. Also, once you use this in water, it'll swell and be tight as well. So there's the final product. Got a good look at it. Essentially slides right in here. We'll show you now how to do it with a 330. So all I do is line up my springs like this, ready to go. Get her in kind of that half-cocked position. And then I just set one side right here down, like that. And then when I sit on here, I can use my knee, whatever. I usually use both hands, but you come in, and when you do, there's your stabilizer. So now you can see how it works. That will stabilize that trap so the resistance of the beaver against the trigger won't knock the trap over, but it will trip and catch him all that much more effectively. The lags and everything will get good and muddy the first time you use it. Don't worry about that. That thing, and we have a little bit of silver on the top of that lag, will be gone in no time. Otherwise, you can just take a black magic marker and dull them up. But around here, there's plenty of muck and mud and things where you're trapping beaver, clay. It's not an issue. Generally, it's underwater anyway. And like I say, a couple uses, that wood will swell, make it tighter in the fit of the wood to the lag shaft, and very good. Now, one thing I should mention is generally I run a piece of wire from one of the lags back over to somewhere back here by the cable where the anchor would go, so that you don't lose that stabilizer. They can get misplaced and fall off, or you might leave one behind when you're toting a big 55-pound beaver out of the marsh and thinking more about that beautiful beaver than the old stabilizer that you built in the garage. So there you have it. I hope you find that helpful. Please subscribe, like, carry on. Keep it simple, man. Live life large, live it to the full, but keep it simple. Anything more simple than a stabilizer made like that? I don't know. You tell me if there is. All right, man. Thanks for watching.